Hi and welcome back to FridAI with me, Billie Mcloughlin, where I cut to the first and get to the facts on the big bad world of AI and what it means for us as accountants, bookkeepers and finance professionals. And it is a big bad world this week. We've had some really bad news early on, and just today there has been some news dropped of some more security breaches, but I'm not going to go into that today. I feel like I need to get some more facts, and so I'll report back next week. I do have some fresh stuff there, so let's crack on. And I'd like to start with a little bit of honesty. So hands up if you feel like you've been personally victimised by AI slop. I know I have. So you open LinkedIn, you see some really badly made post there, or something that starts with it's not X, it's Y, and you look your email and Chad wants a meeting with you and you just don't want to jump on a call with somebody who doesn't even know they're jumping on a call because their robot's reached out. Well, there is a new button called Seems Like AI Slop, which I wonder if AI came up with that name now. I've said that out loud, I'm not sure. But next time you're scrolling, if you see something and it reeks of AI, you can tap the three dots on the top of that post and there'll be now an option that says Seems Like AI Slop. You tap that, the post gets hidden, and you get a little message to say thanks, which is very nice and warm and cuddly. But something you do need to know is, although this is anonymous, the person who's written that post will get a private notification in their analytics dashboard on LinkedIn telling them that their post was flagged, which is really helpful, great feedback, but also like equally petrifying. So for me, I'd be thinking, oh my God, someone's flagged a post and I wrote it. I'm starting to sound like AI. It also means that AI are retiring their Enhance with AI post feature, which I don't know if you ever use this, but you would kind of put a rough draft in and it would just turn it into this corporate mess. The writing was just awful. Well, they replace it now with a lighter proofreading tool that apparently keeps your actual voice intact, so we'll see. Their CPO did call this a top priority though, because I've seen some stats on this whilst I was doing my research. I think 40% of long form posts on LinkedIn are now AI generated, which is just mental. We're kind of getting to the point where we're on there talking to other robots. And 62% of AI content across all social media platforms is actually attributable to LinkedIn. So it is a priority, it is important. Also, every time someone taps that button, they are essentially training LinkedIn's AI detection. So it's better, I guess, that we are doing it because we're humans and we can see it. But another task where we're not getting paid for, I guess. Anyway, next two stories are Xero App Store related, and we're talking about something that I mentioned on the Loop podcast, which is launched next week. So Xero in July, they did their app update, all the things that have gone into their app store, and Garfield is one that you need to know about. So I mentioned these a few months ago, I think it was last month actually, for making history to be the first SRA regulated AI law firm to win a court trial, which was insane. Well, they're now on the Xero App Store. So Garfield connects directly to your Xero data. It looks at overdue invoices, it identifies the ones that are worth pursuing, and then it handles everything from like the first payment reminder to maybe a more formal letter to actual court documentation. So this is great for claims up to £10,000. And the pricing is really good. So debt chaser letter is £2, filing a claim form is 50 quid, and if you remember last month when I talked about it, they won, I think the case was worth about £7,000 and the person only paid 400 quid in fees, whereas the person they was against paid a solicitor and everything. So 400 quid for 7 grand back is definitely worth it. I think by mid 2026, so probably last month, Garfield had already processed 600 claims and they'd recovered more than £500,000 for its users. I really like this story because I think every one of our clients has debtors that they just kind of write off because they're not worth chasing because they're under 5 grand. So this is a really great use case of a regulated AI that could change a lot for some of our clients. Next up is another app and also on the Xero App Store. This is called AutoHive. So this was released this month as well, but I'm going to come on to the similarities in a minute and the reason why I'm a bit in a chokehold with it. This is a no-code AI agent that sits directly inside Xero, but I wonder if this could be the start of like an agent store. So instead of an app store, you'd have like, okay, I'm going to go look for a payroll agent. And then you train that payroll agent on your firm. And then you're essentially buying a digital employee as opposed to a software, if that makes sense. Xero, if you like that idea, I accept blank checks. Anyway, AutoHive, they create invoices, bills, search contracts, pull reports, all in plain English. You just ask it like you would a team member. Again, I feel like this is what Jax should be doing. So I need to find out a bit more as to like how much of an overlap there is here, because it sounds very much like the Xero Force announcement that was made last month. Going back to AutoHive, I would say it's really clever, that fact that it's multi-tenant, which means that if you're a practice that manages, say, 40 Xero organizations, you can run AutoHive across all of your clients from one dashboard, which is cool. But yeah, I just find this really interesting. Like, Xero's built its own agent builder and then welcomed a third party doing the same thing. So either they're being genuinely open, which is great, or they're hedging the bets. So yeah, you take your pick. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Next up is Vinyl, yet another update from the guys over there, and it is no secret that I love this tool, especially A, the rate they ship releases is amazing, and B, the way they think about the whole process. So they've just added this super cool feature, and I think it's called pre-meeting briefs, which kind of does what it says on the tin. Jordan announced it on LinkedIn this week. And basically, when you go into Vinyl, you go to your upcoming meetings within Vinyl, click onto the list, and Vinyl has already built you a brief for the meeting that you've clicked on. So it's got context, not a specific client, and it's created it. It's aware of previous conversations. It's looked at open threads that are worth mentioning with that client. It's the stuff that kind of takes ages before the meeting that you actually don't end up doing. The brief is built from a meeting history and also the calendar invite. So if your team write proper agendas in invites, which now I would suggest you do, Vinyl reads those and then kind of like folds it all into the mix in everything that you've already discussed with that client before. This is internal. The clients will never see the prep sheet, which is really good. So this is just for you and your team. But this is what the tool should be doing. It's that proper AI workflow. It's owning the entire workflow. I was on a webinar with Dex earlier this week who are doing it for bookkeeping, and it's just not about one feature anymore. It's about a tool doing something useful at every stage of a specific task that you already do. So yeah, good work, Vinyl guys. I'm sure this will be used very widely amongst the Vinyl users. And then finally, this one's a little bit more nerdy, but stick with me. So Sodium, which is the UK practice management platform, have just updated their AI connector. So if you're not familiar with Sodium, think kind of like Bright Manager, Accountancy Manager, Centre, Carbon, all that. It's a UK built product by an infamous team, may I add. So what they've done is they've had an AI connector for a while, but until now, to actually set it up, you had to fiddle around in the terminal with Node.js, API keys, and just all these other acronyms I'm just not going to bore you with, which if you're not a developer, it's a hard no. Like, even me thinking about saying them out loud, I'm like, oh, have I got that right? Like, it's making me scratch my head. So it's the kind of thing that you would try to do. You'd sit down, you think, you know, I'm going to go make a cup of tea, and then you just won't go back to it. So the update from just this week is really good because it means that you can connect directly inside your AI app in about 2 minutes. So there's no installation, there's none of this fiddly tech jargon, you don't need to be a coder. I looked through the help page on this and it was super straightforward. You just connect it like you would any of the other connectors into, say, Claude, and then you can ask Claude questions. So which of my proposals sent in the last month are still unassigned, or what have I got on my plate today? And then Claude will go and have a look in your practice management software in Sodium and find out. This is what the agentic era that everyone keeps banging on about looks like. It's not sci-fi, it's not difficult, it's just your practice data, your AI assistant, and the two are connected with no code and they can talk to each other. So every practice management vendor is gonna have to kind of jump on this. Sodium got there very quickly, which is great. If you are a Sodium user, go and try connect this weekend. If you're not, now's the time to maybe have those conversations with your current practice management software. Can I connect this to Claude? If not, why not? And if it's not coming soon, maybe now's the time to start looking at alternatives like Sodium that are a bit more forward thinking. So that is your week. I hope you've enjoyed this week's FridAI. If you have, please just drop me a like, a comment, tell me what you're thinking, and share this with someone in your team that you think needs to know all about it. Same time next week. I'll see you then. Bye.